I just went into debt in order to increase my income. Debt is such a hot topic. There are so many people and programs and podcasts and radio shows and just individuals telling you that you must get out of debt, that debt is horrible. And there is bad forms of debt: consumer debt, auto debt, credit card debt. This is all things that tie you to an obligation that you should most likely avoid. But there are also advantages to using debt, and that is where you have to think a little bit differently. I think a little bit differently, and I'm going to use it to my advantage. Hello everyone, I am Colin and this is Harness Money. Don't forget to smash that like button so that YouTube shows me all the love, and my mission is to help you build wealth. Now let's talk about debt. Let's talk about the different forms of debt. I like to think a little bit differently than other people, which just means that I like to look for ways that I can be more like a business. I like to think of my own life, my own career or work as a business, as if I am providing a product or service to other people that has value, and I want to increase that value over time. And one of the ways that I do that is by creating multiple streams of income. There are a lot of things said about passive income or just creating different streams of income, and some of them are harder than others. But this is one of the ways that I have found and I am going to exploit. So I put $5,000 into my dividend portfolio, my quarterly and monthly. I actually have two different portfolios. One is quarterly and one is monthly. So one, I invest in companies that are paying a quarterly dividend. That's the AT&Ts, McDonald's, Starbucks, Verizon, ExxonMobil. Those are all companies that are paying quarterly dividends. And then there are businesses that pay monthly dividends. So I have a totally separate portfolio of companies that are paying monthly dividends. And these are the REITs. These are the real estate businesses that are providing services to individuals. They often pay a monthly dividend because they are required by law to pay this out to shareholders. Now, a lot of businesses use debt to their advantage, and it's never talked about. People don't dig into how much debt these businesses have. They just look at their success. They just look at the products or services that they offer and say, wow, this is a great company because they offer a great service. But they don't talk about how much debt they had to go into in order to become a Netflix. So I've written down some popular businesses and how much debt they have. Netflix has about $15 billion outstanding in debt that they have used to create content. And actually, it's probably higher than that because I just read that they paid $1 billion around that ballpark for the rights to Sony movies so that they can play the next Spider-Man film on their platform. So they are continuing to go into debt in order to create the best content on television or streaming for their consumers. Who else? We've also got Verizon. Verizon is right now in $129 billion worth of debt. They just paid out a fortune in debt to acquire the 5G streaming, the 5G radio wave rights so that they can provide better service. Disney has $64 billion. ExxonMobil has $58 billion outstanding in long-term and short-term debts. So there's two different forms of debt for businesses, long-term and short-term. But these businesses have all gone into debt in order to create better products and services for you and for me so that they can grow their business, so that they can hire more people, and that they can get more revenue and net income. That is exactly the mind that I am bringing to this investment, is that I am looking to invest into this stream of income so that it will produce more income and that I can grow and develop. This did not happen overnight. I have been slowly building up this portfolio over several months. For several months, I have been testing this portfolio to make sure that this was working, that every single month I was getting those payments paid into this account and that it was actually going to work, that I wasn't just investing something into something that was going to be a one-off or was not going to pay me consistent revenues. I wanted to make sure that I was investing into the right companies to make sure that I was going to have income every single month and grow that money over time. A dividend portfolio is a very slow growing asset. It's not something that is going to ramp up heavily in a month or 2 months. It takes years and often decades before you actually see the big benefits of a dividend portfolio. But it is definitely a stream of income that takes no work. It's very little work in order to create this, set this up, have it run in the background, and all you have to do is continue to contribute money, and it will slowly increase. But you do have to select the right investments. So I looked into some of the criteria that I used to select the companies, and one was, is this company increasing their dividend over time? And then do they consistently pay it out? So there were lots of companies that fluctuate, that pay a steady dividend for a while, but then they have to cut it when they go into a downturn. You want to find companies that are relatively resistant to the downturn in the economy, such as Walmart. Walmart, everybody still goes and shops at Walmart, even when there is a downturn in the economy. You've got to go buy groceries. That is what their biggest driver of sales is the grocery market. Now, people might not spend on other consumer goods, but they're still going to the store to buy food. So they have kept their dividend the same and actually increased it steadily over time. So you want to look for those companies. You also want to pick a basket, maybe 4 or 5 companies or more. I have a lot more in my dividend portfolio that these companies pay out on different months. So you want to pick an AT&T that pays January, April, and October, and then you want to pick a Verizon that pays on February, June, and November, that pays in different months. So every single month you're consistently getting an amount put in your bank account. There is also some planning that you want to think about when you create this portfolio or when you do this stream of income. I am creating this stream of income to last my entire life. So I want to have this amount continue to steadily grow over time. So I have to think about several different things that could throw you off track. Number one, you want to think about taxes. Are you going to owe any taxes on this money? And if so, you want to consistently put money aside to pay your taxes. This is the difference between being an employee for a business and running your own business, or being the business owner, is that you have to pay in your taxes on a regular interval. You don't just file your taxes once per year. You think about it every single month and every single quarter, how much you're going to owe for that period of time. So I like to think of the same thing. I like to think of every time I get paid, am I putting enough money aside from this stream of income to pay the taxes? The next thing is, if you're going to borrow money, you don't want to borrow too much money. That's a terrible thing. But then you also want to be able to pay the interest. You need to be able to service the interest that comes with borrowing money in order to create this stream of income. That is what separates these businesses from just borrowing money as a college student or borrowing money to buy a new car, is that those don't create a stream of income. Those don't have the ability to pay themselves back, versus when Disney borrows money, they build a amusement park, then sell tickets to that amusement park. So it's paying itself back. You're using your money in order to create a stream of revenue that will service the debt over time. So that's what I like to think about too. Number one is the taxes. Number two, am I creating enough money to service the interest debt on this investment? So you want to put money aside for those two items, but you also want to think about, do you want to pay yourself? Are you going to take a salary or take money out of this investment to actually pay yourself? For me, I'm still relatively young, so I am reinvesting all of my dividend income back into the portfolios. I want these portfolios to grow over time, so I'm reinvesting any dividends I get back into the dividends, and then I'm putting my own money that I'm earning from other work on top of that, so that it just grows and compounds over time. This is what I'm thinking about debt. It shouldn't be this horrible thing that you must avoid, but it can actually be something that you can use sparingly, that you can use wisely to get you closer to your financial goals, that you can use to your benefit. Thank you for watching this video, YouTube world, and don't forget to smash that like button, and remember, make good money choices. Till next time.